Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. First of all, I'd like to just say thank you for everyone who has shown us so much support in liking the videos, subscribing, and leaving us comments down below. It really does mean a lot. We've just reached 1,000 subs and it's all been because of you guys and girls. Thank you very much for your support and we really do appreciate it. Okay, so let's get into the price action now. So basically, we were talking about this for a while now, looking for this potential that we're in a bigger wave three to the upside here, looking for this zone of this 31,780, and this is still something I'm looking out for as long as we continue to hold support. But the problem is we do have a little bit of strange structure within here, and the fact that if we draw this off these lows here connected to this high, we've actually had a rejection straight off this trend line. So what I'm just being a little bit cautious of is that this whole move could just be an ABC to the upside, in which case we could have something like this A, B, and then we're looking for that potential of a C wave to the downside. There is also other ways of interpreting this, but basically what I'm just being a little bit cautious of is if we do set a high here, potentially that could mean that we could see some some moves back down to some of these key zones, this 25,200, this 2467 area, all the way down towards this 21,182. Just looking out for that potential of a rejection here. We have still talked about that possibility where we could actually see this break down from this point. So we just need to be a little bit cautious here and hope and basically watch it to make sure that it maintains structure. So if we want to talk about bullish potential here, what we were talking about yesterday is looking for something like this. So we're looking for this as a 1-2, and then looking for this 1-6-1-8 here as a wave 3. So, we can argue that we could have something like this, in which case we have a 5-wave move completed. Or alternatively, we could also count this move something like this, where this was all a wave 3. Now, the reason I'm thinking about this is because of the size of this wave 2 in comparison to this as a wave 4 would be very short. So what I'm looking out for is the potential that we have a bigger wave 4 still to come here, and the target area we'd be typically looking for would be between this 29,278 to this 29,880 area. It is possible that we could have actually completed this fourth here already, but once again, it's not very big in comparison to this. So what I'm looking out for is if we do get something more complicated in here, where we get something like this move, we get basically something like this as an A, a B, and then we get a C wave to the downside, something like this coming back into the some of these lower areas here. Potentially 50% would take us into this structure here, which would be this 29,278. But it is also possible, we need to be careful of this extending to the upside even more, where potentially within here we have 1-2-1-2, and then now we're starting to form a bigger wave 3 to the upside still. So yeah, we'll have to be a bit patient, but what I'm looking for is to see whether we actually have an additional fourth wave like this, where we have this 29,880 to this 29,278 as a support zone that we could look to find support and then look to push up for another fifth wave. If we did see something like this, basically what we'd be looking for then, let me just move this over here, would be that potential to come up towards this zone of this 30,641 to this 30,986 area. And that would give us a 5-wave move off these lows here. So the problem is that I have with this count is the fact of the next bit. So I'm just going to turn off that for a second. And we're talking about this potentially becoming an A, B, and we're looking for rejection here, but we didn't actually find it, and we broke back above this 28,543, and that was sort of our cutoff point there, for looking for this C wave. So the only way we can really look at this then is that we would have to argue that somewhere within here we have something like this as a W, an X, and a Y to the downside, um, which is not my favorite interpretation because of the fact that this wave was so short here. So I don't really like this, and that's making me believe that potentially we could have a triangle from further back here, where this is A, B, C, D, and E. And then actually we just have this as an A, B, and a C. So we're going to go over that in a second, but we're talking about border structure here. So if that's the case, basically we argue either we've completed wave 2 into this low, and then we have a diagonal here, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The problem, yeah, I mean, it is viable, and then this would be another wave 2. So this would mean that we actually have additional structure within this wave, where we have one, two, one, two, one, two, three, four, five. Then once we've completed this fifth wave, we'd look for another fourth, and then a fifth, and then finally this fourth and fifth would come into play. So this is where we've got to be a bit cautious with the structure, because if that's the case, basically what that would mean is that if I can't turn this internal count off, what this would mean is that basically, we'd still be within this bigger wave three here, and we've come up to that 1618 already. So, what we could have is either a completed move in here with a more complex, wave two, which is fine, but it is quite dragged out. So it's not my favorite way of looking at it. But basically, then we'd have to argue that we could still be looking for a fourth wave just of a different degree here, and they would still be looking for this zone of this 29,085 to this 29,787. So this would basically be, indicating that we're going to have a bit of a pullback here, and then we're going to look for a pushback to the upside. So it's we're going to have to monitor this, because it's unclear whether we are in this wave four here, or whether we're within that subwave four. And then we've still got to come up one more time. If we do come up one more time like this, so we form one, two, three, four, five, then basically this would just move this it would just move this third wave target, or this third wave, into this higher zone. And then basically, it would be looking to extend out, and then possibly within that, we could look for that fourth wave to start from that higher area. If this fails to break back above there, we need to be careful, because um, in the bearish scenario, this could be the completed move. So we just need to maintain above these lows here at this 27,807 if we want to look for continuation here. Because like I said, one way we can look at this is that we're forming another one and a two within this structure here, and then looking to push to the upside. So that would look for something like this if it does end up being the case. So if we want to argue that we've completed into this high here for this wave one, what we'd be looking for then is that potential to actually come back down in this wave two, and then look for a bigger third wave, which would look to take us up towards this 33,000 and 303 area. So this is what we're going to have to keep an eye on. If we do maintain this higher zone, I would be looking for that fifth wave to the upside. At the moment, the moves down look corrective. So this is fine. This would facilitate that idea of a move back up here for fifth wave. If we do pull down into this area, push back up, then what we'll be having to look for is to see whether we get additional fourth waves. If we get an additional smaller fourth wave in here like this, basically I would start looking at that potential that, we could have had a diagonal here. So this would be one, two, this would become three, get four, five, and then we'd have another fourth and fifth. So this would basically, indicate that we have some serious extensions that are going to be playing out here, and could mean that we are actually looking for that higher target here, which is at this higher zone here of this 31,780 area. So this is going to be a key area that if we're looking for this as a one and a two in here, what we want to do is we want to get back above this. We want to get up towards this 31,780, get this fourth wave playing out, get a fifth wave up, and then, potentially, if this does, the problem is if we want to look at this as a 1, 2, and then looking at this as a third wave here, basically we need to push up much higher. So this is the issue with the count currently. We need to push up towards this zone of this 34,893, so that we could look at this as a 1, 2 here, looking at this whole move starting here as a third wave. But we don't have that we don't have that confirmation yet. We have all the things we need here to push up. It's just whether it maintains the structure. If it fails to maintain the structure, basically we could have something else going on. So this is the bigger picture here. We're looking for this bigger move up towards this zone of this 34,893. But we need to see if we can continue to build good structure here and continue to set these higher lows and higher highs. Failing to hold this zone of this 29,278 would then make me look to this lower area here, this 29,085 to this 28,343. But failing to hold this zone could then, indicate that we could be looking for that potential of coming down and taking out this 27,800. And the thing is, if we do take out this 27,800, it becomes more likely to me then that what we've got is rather something like this. So I'm going to just turn off this bullish count now, and we're going to talk about that potential of the bigger flat correction here. So what I'm looking out for here is, potentially we can still look at this as an A, this is a B, and looking for this as a C wave. So now the key thing here is if we're going to look at it like that, then the best way that I would be looking at this is that basically, well, my best interpretation rather would be that we have something like this A, B, C, D, E in here as a triangle, and then this becomes A, B, and C. So the one-to-one of this off of this E-wave location here is actually up here at this 30,604. But we have actually come up towards this, we have actually come up to this 854 already, this 30,177. So we've passed that. So technically speaking, if this is a corrective structure to the upside, could be complete. The other thing that I was looking at here, if we project the size of this A wave to the upside here, this comes to this 30,430 area, which is pretty much exactly where we got rejected off. So it's going to be key to see whether we actually continue to push up here, whether this is actually a high in place. If this is a high in place here, basically what this could then mean is that this has become, a bigger flat correction in here, where this is A, this is B, and then we could be looking for this C wave target here. So the thing is with this, basically what we would be on the lookout for is, if I just throw this into this high, be looking for that potential to come down towards this 1618 if it's going to be an expanding flat. The other target zones that we would have for this would be the 0.618 of the A wave. This would be the one-to-one of the A wave, which would actually bring us back into this key zone. And then we'd also have this lower area here of this this 27,385 to this 26,507, which would be that 1.236 to that 1618. So these target areas, if we start to break down big 5-wave structure, I'll be keeping an eye on this zone. This could then set us up for this being a bigger flat correction, in which case, if we have a bigger structure like this as a flat, it would be more likely that this whole move here is 1, this is 2, and then we're looking for that push to the upside and a potential wave 3 or wave C. And then we could be looking for, much bigger moves to the upside here. So this is what we need to be aware of on the shorter time frame here. We haven't really invalidated this. The only way we'd really invalidate this is with structure at this point, and moving past that 1618. If we did move past 1618, where we're looking at this as 1, 2, so that would be this scenario here. This one, yeah, this 31,780. Only really by moving back or moving above that would it look to invalidate the potential of this being a flat correction here. I wouldn't really want to see it get too much higher than this 30,600, but basically we'd want to see whether we actually complete this move to the upside here, and then get a deeper rejection, taking out these lows of this 27,800 area, and then that could actually tie in with this idea of a bigger flat. So now the other thing we talked about a while back is there is still the potential that we could see this with an extension in the wave 1, and we're talking about that potential where we're looking for this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into here. This is still possible, but what I would then be looking at is the potential that rather we have the possibility of something like this where the problem is the internals of this wouldn't match up very nicely because we don't have a big enough wave 2 to facilitate this as a wave 4, in my opinion. But what I'd be looking for is that potential that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have a triangle in here, and we're looking for this fifth wave now. So this is still a viable option of this, but basically that would indicate then, we'd be looking for a deeper move off the back of this, and we'd be looking potentially to come down much lower here for support, which would be towards this 24,460 to this 21,559. So this would be looking at this potential for this whole move being another 1, 2. And then basically would have to be looking for that, that possibility of that bigger structure to the upside. The problem is if we do have this as a, a five-way move like this, basically we'd either need to have a deeper retracement, find support, push up again, or this whole move could just be a corrective structure up, and then we could actually look to break down and come and take out these lows here, which would be sitting at this 19,586. If we break that zone, basically, we'd have to just be very careful with how we're looking at this structure, because once we start to take out these lows, it invalidates that idea of having a 1-2-1-2. And then, potentially what this could mean is that we either have to find support lower down here, um, and we look at this whole structure as a single move, where this becomes one, and we come back down for a wave two, something like this. That support zone would be lower down here towards this area of this 21,762 to the 17,983. And this would be looking at this entire move here, basically as a single structure looking for a wave two. So that would mean that we'd have a deeper retracement, potentially coming back and retesting these lows, or this higher support range possibly. There's a couple of ways we can look at this. So we could be due for a pullback. The key thing here is going to be to whether we actually maintain above this 19,571 and this support zone here. If we're looking for that continuation, that bullish continuation, obviously we need to maintain those higher levels. Until we have confirmation, though, I am just being a little bit skeptical of this move, just because of the fact of this choppy middle bit here. It is possible we could look to extend out here, if we do find support again in this 29,085 area. Possibly we could look for that continuation here. If we're looking at this as basically a 1-2, looking for more continuation, 1-2-3-4-5, which would then make this all part of that bigger third wave that we have, looking at this basically as another 1-2 here, and then finally looking for that higher target of this 31,780. Once we cross 31,780, I'll be starting to look for continuation, further evidence of having this fourth wave to play out, but we haven't got that high yet. So we just need to see how we react in this area. Like I said, I'm being a little bit cautious because we've completed that move in a channel, so it could just be a zigzag to the upside, in which case we could be looking for that potential to sell off. So we need to just give it a bit of space and see what happens. We'll try to keep you up to date, obviously, as best we can once we see the moves happening. But yeah, we just need to be careful that this move doesn't just roll over from this high, where you just get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we just break down and take this low. If we take that low of that 27,794, basically that invalidates that idea of having another three-wave move and then continuing up here. And yeah, once we start to break that level, it basically the whole structure starts to fall apart, and then it would be much more clear to either have this as a triangle here and this is a completed wave, or alternatively, a bigger corrective structure looking to come back down into these zones and find support, within this 27,385 to this 26,507. The alternative way of measuring that potential target zone would be off of these zones here, and we'd be looking for basically a move that could potentially take us between this 25,980 to this 25,184. So this is what we have to be aware of. We do have that potential to have continuation here, but we need to see that follow through. If this just stalls out here and we start to break down deeper, we fail to maintain support above these highs of this 28,626. Potentially this could be setting us up for that possibility of actually having a deeper retracement here. So just need to just be patient a little bit with this. Make sure that we're keeping an eye on it, see how it responds to those support zones, and then yeah, go from that point. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. As well as that, you will find affiliate links for both PrimeXBT and BYBIT on in the description. Both great exchanges we use on a regular basis. If you do not have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take